Now to a gory crime in Bengaluru in what is suspected to be a fit of a rage murder. A young techie murdered his wife after they reportedly had an altercation over dinner. According to reports, 36-year-old Rakesh, a techie from Maharashtra, and his wife Gauri had moved to Bengaluru a few months ago. Rakesh allegedly murdered his wife after they had an altercation over their financial situation while having dinner. Rakesh later left for Pune and reportedly concealed his wife's body in a suitcase. Once in Pune, he called his landlord and confessed to the crime. The Bengaluru police are on their way to Pune to take custody of the accused. Well, joining me this evening are our psychologist and author Aarti C. Rajaratnam, as well as former Director General of Police Dr. Vikram Singh. Aarti, really much of this is a reflection of perhaps the pent-up rage, the frustration in society amongst young couples, perhaps everyone else, largely a reflection of perhaps the deeper mental health issues.
See, also we need to understand, Viragov, that many of these things are also natural human behavior. When you take the range of human behavior, just like we have the capacity for compassion, for love, etc., we also have the capacity for the other extreme where, we can be violent, we can cause harm to other people. Not that I'm normalizing it, but we do have this range of behavior. But here in this case, when it comes to ending a person's life and things like that, I need for us to also understand that, murder, when it talks about the emotional part of it, we have the premeditated murders and the one that has happened in the fit of rage. Now, I don't want to go into what really happened because we are assuming that it was in a fit of rage. We don't know if it's premeditated. But if it's either one, we need to also understand that in a culture that is so hypocritical in many ways, we do not accept that sometimes adults just don't get along. Just because there is a social sanction that you've been married and you have to live together, that you'll be able to sort out everything. At no point in our life anywhere are we taught technically how to deal with our emotions, how to deal with conflicts, and how to deal with relationships, especially an intimate partner relationship. And many times, if you notice, when couples get into fights, it's not them who's sorting it out, it's some uncle who's come in, some parent who's come in. So we're not really giving people the space to really find each other, to find that you can grow together, but you don't need to really be all the time in each other's space and in each other's presence. So a lot of
Yes, you're right. Much of it needs to be addressed at a mental health level, understanding level. We seem to have lost the connection with you there, Aarti. Dr. Vikram Singh, largely an issue which is of society one needs to address, perhaps greater attention, greater talk, not really something from a law and order point of view, but you must have seen several such cases in your career as well, sir.
Absolutely. Well, the scholarly interpretation given by RTG, well, yes, this seems to become so more frequent than what it used to be even 10 years ago. You had a case in Meerut, you had a case in Hapur, you had a case in Delhi. I really don't know what is coming over the youngsters today. The tolerance threshold seems to be going down day by day. It is difficult to identify a single couple that does not have differences. There were differences all along, but whether somebody would chop the spouse into pieces and put them in the trolley bag and then just go underground, well, that seems to be something so very frequent, and that is the cause of concern. And I would say that Dr. RTG and others who are experts need to understand what is the shock absorber and the buffer and the defense mechanism of how to be absolutely impervious to extraneous considerations and not have negative sentiments of harming the spouse or oneself or any other loved one. The manner in which one is harming the spouse, the loved one, or oneself indeed is a cause of very grave concern, and it's a very scary situation. As you very rightly mentioned, it is not a law and order problem. It is a societal problem. And as very rightly mentioned by RTG, we do not have in-laws, we do not have parents, we do not have agony aunts to fall back upon to. Then who do we fall back upon to? At least we had the luxury, my generation had the luxury of falling back upon our parents and our in-laws and our elderly people. But today we are known as each each couple for oneself. And then we are far, far away. This couple, they probably, the assassin went to Maharashtra, Mumbai, where he belonged to, but there was absolutely no recourse. to some solace, advice, or where he could unburden himself. If that be the case, then I would say the manner in which the crime was committed, chopping the spouse into pieces, putting the body into a trolley bag, then going underground and then informing the landlord, well, it is inexplicable. But one thing is clear, cold-blooded, deliberate murder, and then probably remorse after the incident and the initial rage is over. Well, there is much more to it than what meets the eye.
Right. Right, you're right about that, Dr. Vikram Singh. Yes, it could be a fit of rage murder, but what happens next is also something that needs to be addressed very closely. Aarti, very briefly before we end this conversation, multiple social issues that often get swept under the carpet. And I go back to that question because it's easy to look at another person and judge. It's largely part of our lives in terms of the stress and the frustrations that we live in, and also the kind of triggers that can come out with, let's say, social media, several other visualization of such events.